Me, hi folks, yesterday I discovered something very important for people who have PTSD or who have been traumatized at any time in their lives. This has a lot to do with the dark ones and their agenda for us as well. As you know, many people are traumatized through either their home lives or through MK Ultra programs as children. Many of us were taken, although we may not remember it, and traumatized so that we would develop disordered egos. What I discovered yesterday, as I researched chronic fatigue, is that those who have chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia have nervous systems that are locked into stress overdrive. Because of a past collection of experiences that traumatized you, your body decided, for some reason, to put you on full-time fight or flight mode instead of on standby. That means you never relax. You're always in stress mode. As you get older, you experience adrenal burnout because they're running full steam throughout your life, but the key thing is that you experience life through the eyes of someone being chased by the illusory tiger the experts are talking about. You experience life as someone who is still being traumatized. This is because your sympathetic nervous system is producing the long-term stress hormone, cortisol, and not using the short-term burst hormone, adrenaline, normally. Cortisol produces a lot of belly fat and disrupts sleep cycles. It also keeps you wired and on the alert for stress. What stops the sympathetic nervous system, or fight or flight response, from operating is invoking the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming half, and the way to do this is by regularly meditating. This helps to calm you down and to keep you from living full-time in fight or flight mode. And I've also read in my research that meditation lowers cortisol levels. So it concurs. There are other obvious things that need to be done as well if you're always stressed out and in fight or flight mode. Stop drinking coffee because coffee is an adrenal stimulant. Stop watching action movies or any stimulating movies or television. Anything that gets your heart rate up, like war movies or anything with fighting, and what doesn't have violence in it these days, stop watching it. Also stop eating white sugar and white bread because these are high glycemic foods and also act like adrenal stimulants. And give toxic people a wide berth. Their aggressive attitude towards life can leave you fighting with them, and that only gets your fight or flight response into a higher gear. Not worth it. People who have this, I've noticed, tend to use in order to restore their peace. They might smoke pot or drink to calm themselves down. If you think I'm describing a lot of people, I am, because the matrix is about you living in your ego and your sympathetic nervous system, not aligned with soul and in your parasympathetic nervous system. Right now, with all that's going on in the world, do you think George Soros wants everyone to find their peace and stay calm 24/7? No, of course he doesn't. He wants us to fight and argue. To stress out. Oh yeah, that's the other thing, stop watching the news. That will get your stress levels up as well. If you say that it's hard not to get your stress levels up with the pressure of your job, you're right. This entire society has been designed to use you up and wear you down. It's all designed that way because peaceniks are all about ascending and loving each other, and that's not what the deep state wants. They want to keep us divided and fighting with each other because that creates lush for the disembodied entities that roam this planet and leech off of our energy. And when we ascend to 5D, we stop feeding them. So, after learning this yesterday and making my observations, and basically having a pretty calm, peaceful day where I actually got some canning done, I didn't think anything of it until I went to bed. First order of business was a nightmare that there was a crocodile in my house and I had to fight it. In the end, 4 scientists showed up and removed it. This nightmare deserves interpretation. Any reptile on Earth I've learned I associate with reptilians. So I'd say the reptilians had clued into the fact that I'd found out this great piece of information and were trying to upset me by giving me nightmares. As for the scientists, Ivo is a scientist and I believe that 4 extraterrestrials came and removed the reptilian so I could get some sleep. And I thank them for that. Okay, so I went back to bed. Strangely, I can just fall asleep after a nightmare. It's something I've learned to do out of necessity because I have so many of them. Next order of business, My cat starts scratching on the furniture to wake me up. He does this when he wants to be fed at night. I used to feed him during the night, but now I don't. I haven't for a while. He has 2 bowls of dried food and he can eat whenever he wants to. I don't feed him wet food during the night because if I do it once, he'll keep waking me up for more. Why this is important is because I had him trained not to ask for food at night, and for no apparent reason, tonight he started again. As soon as he didn't get what he wanted, he jumped up on the kitchen countertop, which he knows he's not allowed to do, and sat and looked out the window. He knows he's not allowed up there, but today again, he decided to break the rules. This is him being prompted by malevolence. You can say I'm paranoid, but I've learned after so many repeated experiences, when I'm trying to do something to help myself, the Matrix will always send someone along to enforce its programming. I've fought an uphill battle to recover from my childhood abuse, and tonight is no different. My cat has been behaving really well lately, and now all of a sudden, he's misbehaving again. I don't think it's a coincidence. I just ignored him sitting in the window and went back to bed. Normally I would take him down and tell him not to do that. He might even get a shot of water in the back of the head to impress upon him the fact he's not allowed up there. I just don't care. I value my peace more. Adama, can we hear your comments please? Adama, certainly, Sheran. We consider it very fortunate in Telos that we don't have to deal with demonics. You have a large infestation of them on the surface and upper atmosphere that's still being cleared out. Unfortunately right now, they are still creating learning within you, as is the case with you tonight, so they are being taken out only as they do not serve a purpose any longer. So when people switch to learning through love instead of learning to stop hating, and positivity instead of negativity, then these beings can be removed. Adama, yes. There is much learning to be done by being loving, and far more than learning through negativity, because love has such a wide frequency. However, your people learn through negativity, so we have to leave in place those who continue to teach you. Technically, Telos is in duality like Upper Earth is, isn't it? Adama, our lowest frequency is 5D, so no. We've moved beyond the need for duality. Nice to hear part of Earth is in 5D. Adama, we need you to start ascending so that we can go higher. Our highest frequency is 9D and we'd like to ascend. Adama, as for you personally, or anyone else who is undertaking a positive change in their lives, be on the lookout for dark sabotage. Absolutely. It is real. The dark is real, and the demonics and reptilians are real. They watch you and look for any change you'd think to make. Then they create a plan to thwart it, which is what Sheran is describing here. They use other earthlings or their pets to accomplish this as well. They know I stopped dating. LOL. Sorry guys, I know you don't like my comments, but try dating some of the men I've dated. I'm not sure one of them was actually even human. The other, I believe, was a shapeshifter. I'm not picking on men. I realize that women can be equally toxic, but I'm heterosexual and I'm speaking from my own experience. I'll have to be careful of my neighbors the next while, because I know that the Matrix can get them to start it up with me as well. I need to walk away instead of engaging my very strong reflex to fight people. I'm not a fleer, I'm a fighter. Now I know why I do it, and I know how to work on reducing my inclination to do so. It also gives me hope, because I know when I'm calm and peaceful, I ignore a lot. When I'm in this locked-in fight or flight mode, nothing goes unnoticed. If you're going to let everything on earth affect you, as I have, then you do a lot of learning, but in the same token, you'll burn yourself out. Adama, your people have some particular challenges, and it's because your DNA has been modified to allow for this. You've been created to be receptacles of mind control programming, which is being piped to you from outside this earth, primarily. The Agarthans don't have the same DNA as you do, so we are not susceptible to outside control. It's that simple. They didn't get us. We went underground before they could change our DNA. The Lemurians watched what was happening on Earth and realized that Atlantis wouldn't ascend. It had been poisoned, taken over by Dark Ones, and we knew all upon the surface would ultimately be affected, so we went underground through Mount Shasta. We hid our escape route and shielded ourselves from detection. We watched what happened to the surface population and it was horrendous. So many were taken and put through modifying experimentation. They came out of these laboratories changed people. The Dark Controllers saw that they could do it. They could change you to suit their purposes, and they did. Then they spread fear. Widespread fear. We could hear your cries for help. We knew they changed the matrix to force you to think you were alone. Humanity suffered on the surface. They went back through a dark age where they barely survived. But they did survive and have slowly come back. There were other groups who came from the stars to try to help them, but fighting broke out among them and the Dark Ones. Ultimately it was decided for the protection of humanity that the positive ETS wouldn't interfere. It was that bad. The Dark Ones had stacked the deck in their favor and against the light interference. They still warred with the Dark Ones, nonetheless. They controlled outcomes by forcing the Dark's hand and through incarnating strong light workers on the surface, such as Jesus. And it's been that way ever since. Now the light is taking back the planet for God and for the people of Earth. Me, so are you saying that I need to learn the lesson that the Dark Ones are trying to teach me now? That's why it happened? Adama, no. I'm saying you need to tell others of your experiences so that they can learn. Me, so I experience more crap because I'm a teacher. Adama, you know how to deal with it, Sheran. Me, I do. Nothing's a problem when you don't make a problem out of it. Adama, exactly. Me, I'll just have to clean cat butt germs off of my countertop, that's all. Adama, which isn't the worst thing. Me, no. Thank you for your discussion today, Adama. I know you were there when the Lemurians made their move underground too. You're that old. Adama, I am. Thank you for letting me serve, Sheran.